In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 secrets to ask your financial advisor, financial planner, wealth manager, whoever you happen to work with, if you do, or if you're thinking of hiring a financial advisor, financial planner, or wealth manager. Hi, I'm Camille Gaines here, and on my website, retirecertain.com, I share what I've learned on an adventure that my husband and I undertook with moving from a scary and really uncertain financial future to complete financial independence by using both traditional investments like stocks and bonds with alternative investments that are often ignored in traditional retirement planning. Now, in this video, I'm going to share these 5 questions. This is based on my own experience. A lot of people think I'm a financial advisor because I talk about investing so much. I don't. I share what I've learned about investing myself for almost 40 years now. I am an accredited financial counselor because I decided I may as well get an accreditation because I do financial coaching. I write about finance. I'm an author. I have a published book. But I am not a financial advisor. I've hired financial advisors. I've worked with them. I monitored, evaluated, and I sometimes help my clients evaluate the performance their advisors are getting for them. So let me tell you that right up front, okay? Now, let me say also, before I share these 5 questions, really important, I think that everyone has to do what's best for them. I don't think there's a cookie cutter formula that everybody should use. I don't think that everyone should not hire a financial advisor. I don't think everyone should hire a financial advisor. I think everyone has to do what's best for them based on their own skill sets and interests. Not only that, as we've developed these alternative income streams over the years in real estate, in online business, and various investment strategies that are probably not going to happen through a financial advisor, I've realized, and also in working with clients, that I think it's important for, it can be important for people to delegate or hire someone to manage a portion of their wealth, especially in stocks and bonds, so they can go on to, work on some things that really, really build wealth and or can catapult their income streams. Things like consulting income or small business, or like I was saying, real estate rentals, or even online business. So I don't think it's all or none. I think everyone has to do what's best for them, and a lot of people are really comfortable using financial advisors, and so I think it's important to address these 5 areas. These are things that, like I said, I've learned, and I'm saving the last one because it's the most important, and I want to make sure you remember it. So make sure you stay till the end and click subscribe if you're interested in this information that I'm sharing here, and click that little bell so you'll know when I post a new video. All right, the very first question to ask your financial advisor is, what is your secret sauce? Now, I'm going to give you these questions and I'm going to expand on them. I'm going to tell you stories of my experience and why this is a good question. These aren't the things that you're typically going to read about questions to ask your financial advisor, right? Because they're based on my experience, all right? Sometimes good, sometimes bad. So what's your secret sauce is simply saying, what are you going to bring to the table for me that I can't get for myself by using a simple investment strategy in index funds or ETFs? I mean, it's not rocket science to use a standard asset allocation model that's free. It's published, online, that is based on your age and your risk profile, and then buy simply a few index funds and ETFs every year, reallocate those as needed. It's not rocket science. It's not that hard. Anyone can do that. So what's your secret sauce is simply saying, what are you going to bring to the table above and beyond that? Now, having said that, it may be that you don't want to fool with that description I just gave you about simple investing in index funds based on an asset allocation model. That may just be, way over not only your head, or it just may be something that you could certainly master if you chose to, but you're busy with your career and or family or other things in your life. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But if you are using a financial advisor and you're wanting something extra, find out what that is that they're bringing to the table. It may be they have an expertise in looking at alternative strategies, which more and more financial advisors are getting into today. It may be that they have a really strong expertise in finding small cap stocks, for example, or in income strategies. Let me share an example with you that will particularly appeal to you if you're interested in retirement income. I was reading about a financial advisor in one of my favorite publications a couple of years ago that specializes in retirement income, and her goal is a 5% dividend income, and then on top of that she likes to aim for 3% growth. Now of course that's on average. We know we're not going to have growth every year because we have bear markets sometime. If you're not familiar with this, then be sure to watch this video that I'll link to up above. I think it's up there somewhere. And you can check that out. But that's an example of something special that she's bringing to the table. And I've always remembered her because I love how specific she was about what she delivers as far as income and her expertise. She had an area of expertise. Some financial advisors are just broad-based. They'll work with anybody, and I guess that's another secret sauce, is what they bring to the table. Maybe it's an expertise in people that need retirement income like this financial advisor did, and perhaps I'll be able to get her on for an interview one day. All right, so that's the first question, is what are you bringing to the table? What's your secret sauce? What's a little extra, your area of expertise that you're going to give me that I'm going to pay you for? Because let's face it, it's expensive to hire a financial advisor. You know, 1% a year, 1.5% a year. I was working with one client that was paying almost 2.5% a year before we started working together. So it cost a lot of money, and when you equate that percent into dollars, you'll see how much you're paying every year. All right, the next question is, based on your recommended portfolio for me, how much money should I have in X number of years? All right, so this one is tricky. You know, I feel for financial advisors because there's so many rules the government has put in place around what they can say. There's, on the one hand, it protects people from being ripped off, but on the other hand, it makes it hard for financial advisors to, you know, really work with their clients and get into the numbers and just work with them. And I think it also sort of robs us of feeling responsible for our own money when there are all these rules around it. But having said that, a fair question is, based on the recommended portfolio, you know, that you're recommending for me now, based on my risk and my age, and you know, very often they will work up a plan for you and make recommendations before you hire them. What can I expect? Let's look at a calculator and see how much my wealth will be in 10 years, 20 years, 5 years, whenever it is that you're looking to retire. So that's a very reasonable question. All right, the next question I am going to suggest is, what's the biggest opportunity that you see right now? Okay, what's the biggest opportunity you see right now? That's going to tell you a lot, and here's why. A lot of financial advisors, perhaps the majority, just do the standard asset allocation based on your age and risk profile, and it's adjusted every year. Rebalanced is what that's called, and they don't go out on a limb because, well, it's hard to know what to recommend because no one knows what the future holds, right? But having said that, as you may have seen in some of my other videos, you can look at and consider valuations, and you can look at long-term market cycles and trends and see when there are unusual opportunities that would certainly lend itself to say, hey, right now, you know, stocks are the cheapest they've been in 5 years, so I think it makes sense to increase your portfolio, you know, your investments, your percent that you have in stocks from 50% to 70%, or I think you should put an extra, you know, 20% into a real estate, maybe with a real estate ETF or with REITs or something like that. So these are opportunities that present themselves, right? Something else an advisor might say is, I'm concerned about inflation, so I think we need to put 10% of your net worth or 20% of your net worth into assets that will protect you from inflation in the future. So that question, what opportunities do you see right now, will tell you a lot more than the opportunities that they see right now, right? Okay. The next question is, do you invest in tactical assets like gold, for example, or do you strictly invest in stocks and bonds? Now, having said that, you know, an advisor might invest in stocks and then invest in U.S. stocks, large stocks, small stocks, international stocks, emerging market stocks, bonds, treasury bonds, inflation protected bonds, global bonds, emerging market bonds. That's not that fancy, okay? That's pretty standard. But do you invest in anything else, or do you invest in something a little more tactical? And tactical would relate to the last question. Tactical investing is more about seeing opportunities that present themselves and investing in those opportunities for a little bit higher, with the goal of a little bit higher return without increasing risk. So that question will tell you a lot when it's kind of in addition to the question above. The next question that I would suggest is, what investment guru or what investment methodology or investment book do you really admire? Or who is your investment, guru or expert that you really admire? Is it, Benjamin Graham, who is well known for being a value investor? Or is it, someone else that is known for something different that perhaps this advisor can bring to the table for you, going back to the very first question? And then the last question I told you is the most important, is, are you a fiduciary? Let me explain this one. Believe it or not, financial advisors don't always have to act from a legal perspective. Let me say that. From a legal perspective, they don't always have to act on your behalf. They don't always have to put let me say this just right, your needs first, right? So a fiduciary financial advisor has to put your needs first, okay? So you can see how that kind of leaves the door open for a financial advisor who may have an incentive to sell you products that are higher commission. And a fiduciary financial advisor is sort of the gold standard in the industry, and someone that is licensed in a way that they're required by law to be a fiduciary is something to look for and to respect and understand. That's not to say that someone's not a fiduciary can't always bring something new to the table. But in that case, I think you really got to understand investing, and someone that is just an overall broad-based planner or financial advisor for you, I think it's important that they are a fiduciary. If you found this information helpful, I'll bet you'll also like this video here.